Disney wants to make it look like they've got the next big thing to save theaters. Let's talk about whether or not that's the case on That Park Place. Hello, I am Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter for That Park Place, where we like to cover movies, streaming, theme parks, video games, horticulture, haberdashery, all kinds of stuff. Today, we are talking about movies, and I have my good friend Vash Sky here to help me out. Vash, did you attend CinemaCon?
I did not attend CinemaCon, but got the press coverage all about it and a big old spot from the Walt Disney Company on their official site right
That's
here.
Right.
So
we don't need to go to CinemaCon because Disney's going to tell us exactly how it happened. Look right here.
There you go.
We've got an orangutan. We've got Joy from Inside Out. I hope you remember that one because they're doing a sequel. We've got Deadpool from the filthy R-rated action adventure sex comedy superhero film. Then we have Moana 2, which is a TV series that is being retrofitted into a movie as soon as possible. Hopefully they can get some stuff in there. And I don't know what this is. Could be First Omen. I don't know. Let's find out. From Deadpool to Mufasa. Oh, that's what it is. It's Mufasa. Obviously, this is a lion. From Deadpool to Mufasa, the Walt Disney Studios rolls out its robust slate of new releases. A new kingdom, some new feelings, the return of Oscar-winning duos, a swearing superhero and his clawed companion, silent screams in space, the return of Motunui, and the origins of a lionized king. That's just some of what moviegoers can expect as the Walt Disney Studios rolls out its 2024 theatrical film slate at CinemaCon in Las Vegas Thursday. By the way, just want to point out it's April 15th of 2024 as we are recording this, so I'm glad they finally decided to announce what's going on. The 2024 releases represent an eclectic group of films across Disney's blockbuster brands with franchise films such as Marvel Studios, Walt Disney Animation, 20th Century Studios, Pixar, and more. It's also an example of the company's ongoing effort to deliver creativity and excellence from its film studios. Ongoing effort to deliver creativity. That's a sad statement right there. This year's slate follows a 2023 that saw Disney bring in nearly $5 billion at the global box office. Just wait till they find out just how much of that was exclusively Avatar 2, which Disney happened to luck into getting with the Fox acquisition, and only 1.9 billion of that domestically across 17 titles. That makes it sound okay. Let's see, 17 titles. 1.9 billion. Let's okay. 1.9 billion divided by 17.
Disney,
so
you just had to include some numbers for Jonas, did you? You just had to do it.
Okay, so that would be about 100 million per 111 million per title. That does not sound good to me. Acclaim has also followed financial success last year as Disney led. Wait. Financial success. No. This is the citation needed here. Led with 20 Oscar nominations, including 5 wins. Now 2024 is shaping up to be a great year. Here's some of what Disney is bringing to the theater near you. May 10th, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Vash, have you heard anything about this one?
I mean, the trailer looks really, really strong, and honestly, I think, look, as far as these Fox acquisition films, as I like to say, I think this is the strongest of the slate coming up here. Honestly, I've heard a lot of people who are very, very excited about this, including myself, quite frankly.
Inside Out 2. Ooh, this is fascinating. June 14th. It looks like the pictures aren't loading here. So Disney, work on your website there. Growing up can be emotional, and Pixar is once again ready to show audiences how much with Inside Out 2. The highly anticipated sequel, again, citation needed, to one of animation studio's most popular films, brings audiences back into the head of Riley as she takes on the trials and tribulations of being a teenager. Yes, it is about puberty, which... female puberty is sure to bring in the young boys here. As Vash, you were a young boy once. Didn't you want to see a film about awkward female puberty?
Yeah, that wouldn't be a production that I would necessarily have gone to when I was a young boy. That is for sure right here, racking up $858 million in 2015. Yeah, those are amazing figures. We just went over some of the recent Pixar releases. However, that's gonna be hard to duplicate here. in 2024. And apparently, the confidence for this film, I don't know, it's on shaky ground. Obviously, we did see a little bit of a presentation at the annual shareholders meeting, which was very interesting. However, Jonas, is it right that they showed about 35 minutes of this thing at CinemaCon?
Yes, they did. Yes. So there are several different takes on this. One from our own LW Ghost that says that if they're showing 35 minutes of this film, that means that they're very scared about how it's going to do at the box office. But other takes, including, well, I'm not going to name them by name because I don't know if they want to be named by name, but people from several outlets that we've interacted with have said that this looks like it's actually a return to form for Pixar, that this is actually maybe as good as the original even, but that's up to the 35-minute point. The question of whether or not there's any peculiar recent modern ideology in it has yet to be answered. I've also been told some of our questions seem to be based around the idea that the movie might not be what we think it is, and that's fine. That's probably
Ooh.
really good for a Disney film to have a little bit of surprise to it. You know, this is a sequel to a movie that I don't think needs a sequel. I do have some worries about anxiety and whether or not that character is going to be accurately handled. The idea of atriogenesis, introducing the idea of anxiety to young children, makes me wonder if this film is in fact safe for kids, to tell kids that anxiety exists in a form that is cute and cuddly, or even the villain of the film to make them scared of having anxiety is probably not a healthy thing for small children. So I don't know. I really don't know about this film, but they could thread the needle. I don't know.
You know, we're going to have to really take a look at this. I mean, the recent animated titles from the Walt Disney Company, whether it be produced by Pixar or Walt Disney Animation, just haven't done all that extraordinarily well. This is obviously a big sequel coming out here, not necessarily original film like Wish was. I know that they say Lightyear was on its own thing, but it was definitely connected there for sure.
Right.
We're just going to have to see what this is all about here when it comes out. But it's good that CinemaCon goers like what they saw. That's great. That's fantastic. I question the people who are going there though, and whether they're catering to that audience, not necessarily wide distribution or wide distributed audience. Right there, we'll have to see.
Right, and I'll point out that Lightyear made 218 million at the global box office, and Elemental doubled that. They made 484 million at the global box office. A lot of that overseas, and it took a lot of time. And 485 million at the global box office is not enough to make these films profitable or worthwhile for Disney. Kinds of Kindness. I don't know much about this one. Oh, it's Emma Stone and Yorgos Lanthimos who did Poor Things. That's going to be a skip for me. Deadpool and Wolverine, as we've described it before. Wolverine is going to be there. By the way, what they didn't mention here, Kevin Feige got on stage and he introduced Deadpool and Wolverine. And you know, I'm kind of, I don't like it when people curse a lot. And part of the marketing of this film is having Kevin Feige get up on that stage and nervously say the F word a few times as he is introducing this film. I don't know how he speaks when he's off stage. I understand it's pretty common to curse in Hollywood. Not a fan of it in marketing. I think it's kind of limiting. I know that Deadpool is a rated R film, and it is probably the Disney company's best chance at having $1 billion at the box office this year. I just don't know. Vash, save me from myself here before I say something that offends our audience, who isn't really crazy about me bringing up how filthy the Deadpool movies are on purpose.
Well, look, I understand being associated with the Disney brand. You know that comes with some let's say responsibility, right? However, Deadpool fans looking for a new entry into this franchise right here, it is living up to that characterization. And I think it's very much anticipated. To see Hugh Jackman in the role again is like that has its own interest, obviously, and demand for that specific character. But Deadpool, this is looking really good. I mean, from what I've seen, now obviously there are some things in the trailer that definitely worry some connections to some of the Disney Plus series and so forth. However, we see Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool doing Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool things, and that is a plus for sure. Hugh Jackman coming back has, like I said, a lot of demand for it. Like, I do kind of agree with you. The marketing, yeah, I mean, you kind of have to bring some of that stuff out. You have to give people an impression of what they're going into, right? And I think that's the strategy for the Disney company as they are, absorbing Deadpool into the MCU. It's like, okay, this is what you get with this character. Know this going into it, and you should be fine.
Right. And I'm not trying to say that Deadpool needs to be clean. If, obviously the world would be a better place if we all had strict moral standards and we kept to them, but we don't. And I get it. If Deadpool, in order for Deadpool to be successful, Deadpool needs to be Deadpool. And by the way, Deadpool at his most potent form financially brought in 784 million at the global box office. And that was the highest grossing film in the X-Men franchise. That's including the Bryan Singer ones. That's including the what was it, Matthew Vaughn that did X-Men First Class. So at their most potent, these films still didn't break $1 billion at the box office. However, Joker did get $1 billion at the box office. So being the highest rated, the highest grossing R-rated film of all time, Deadpool and Wolverine is going to be R-rated, and they're going to be associating it with Disney as heavily as possible in order to fix the image of the Walt Disney Company from a financial standpoint. But I don't think that it's going to fix the image of the company from a brand standpoint. So, Alien Romulus. I don't know anything about Alien here. Vash, do we have anything to say about Alien Romulus?
This is surprisingly, I know very little about this film, and I'm not sure whether or not that's lack of marketing or lack of interest, but I think that's kind of the latter situation right there. The Alien franchise has kind of been mocked for the last couple of years, especially with the latest generation coming out and embracing these films here. I think they instinctively connected with a lack of quality. Okay. And then I think they also, it's like, oh, it's my dad's franchise or I don't know, my grandfather's franchise. In some cases, it's not necessarily my franchise. So it's just, I think it's a lack of interest really coming for this film. Now, apparently it's going to take us back all the way to the original Alien in a lot of ways, which is good. I think the video game that came out under this brand name, that was very successful. Yeah. Taking it back there. So I think it could work. It's just, where's the interest lie? What demographic is actually going to support this film? That's where I struggle.
Moana 2. I hinted at this in the intro, of course, that Moana 2 is a retrofitted TV show. It was going to be on Disney Plus, and right now I think we all know that the connotations that come with Disney Plus television series, that the bar is set to a very specific level. Now, maybe this one could have exceeded it. We have seen some Disney Plus series that we're hitting on all cylinders. I've been surprised at the quality of X-Men 97. Not for kids, by the way. I am not endorsing X-Men 97 for children. I'm just saying that there's been a surprising level of quality and writing on that show. But Moana 2 was suddenly retrofitted at the early part of this year. They have, I don't know, about 6 months to make this into a movie instead of a television series. And they are using a first-time director. He's someone who has worked in animation for a very long time, but has not directed a picture before. And now he is the director of the next Walt Disney Animation Studios picture. It's going to be at a studio that has never produced a movie before, which is the Vancouver office. And he was not present at this panel. Vash, did you see the panel?
I did not see the panel, but I know that Lin-Manuel Miranda wasn't there, and that's also another thing against this film. That's the thing, Jonas. I mean, this thing was a sensation because of its music. And when you don't have those key components to bring back here, I don't know. I think this one might be struggling here. We've gotten a lot about Moana 2. That is for sure the struggles and challenges that it has right here. And yes, the demand is there for sure. I think audiences will come out here. But for how long? If they smell that this is not up to par, this could be really damaging for Disney.
I agree. And the thing I also want to point out, Dwayne Johnson did appear on stage and did a little dance and told everybody to come watch the movie. The man who's actually directing this film, the writers in charge of this film, did not come out in the way that they would in the past. This is more flash and pizzazz. By the way, they forgot to sign Dwayne Johnson and Auli Carvalho before they announced that this was going to be made into a movie. So I'm glad that worked out for them. And of course, we have Mufasa, the Lion King. Oh, this one's got a picture on it. Look at that. That's a bright and shining sun there. So this one is directed by the Oscar-winning filmmaker Barry Jenkins, who I don't know if you're aware of him, but he was in charge of the LGBT drama Moonlight. Is that the name of the one that won the Oscar, but they accidentally said that it was a different film that won the Oscar? I don't have a lot of comments on that film. I did not see that one, but he's now in charge of the Lion King. Mufasa, the Lion King prequel, the prequel to the live action remake of the 1994 animated classic here. And they're saying it's the story of how a lion with no drop of noble blood became Mufasa. Vash, do you think that Disney's got a good slate this year? Do you think this is going to fix the fortunes of the company?
This is looking like a weak slate, folks, to me. I mean, there's only one film that I think is going to even get close to that $1 billion range, and that's definitely Deadpool. Others, I think they're going to underperform once again. That's a really tragic thing. I think it's a combination of factors, but it's just you bring it all back to the creative. Like for Mufasa, for example, that was supposed to kick off a cinematic universe of some kind on the level of Star Wars. At least that was the former president of Disney Studios envision for Mufasa going forward. And it's like, how do you get there? What on the creative side? What makes you make those decisions right there?
That's
and it really explains
question.
Where we are.
And obviously Sean Bailey has left the company, and I think this is something they were going to fire a guy that I don't think he's to blame for a lot of the problems at Walt Disney live action animation. They've put the guy from Fox in charge of Walt Disney live action now, which I think is a department. Instead of saying that maybe these live action remakes are not a good idea, they're now making it its own department, guaranteeing that we will get more in that long series of paint by numbers reboots or whatever you want to call it. There hasn't been, I mean, Jungle Book had some originality to it. Jon Favreau did an excellent job with that. And generally speaking, these things don't deviate. So if you were to imagine in your mind what the live action remake would look like, you're probably pretty close to what it would actually look like. But that being said, let's do a quick check-in on how things are actually going for the competition. Warner Brothers tops $1 billion at the international box office in own record time. First studio to hit that milestone this year. That's a big deal. You know who actually did really well this year? CinemaCon 2024. Paramount showcases If, which is about imaginary friends, A Quiet Place prequel, a first look at Gladiator 2. There's a new Transformers movie that's going to be CGI. Obviously, Quiet Place. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is coming out. By the way, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, if my family is any indication, Sonic the Hedgehog is going to eat that lion. They're coming out the same day, Mufasa and Sonic 3. There's a lot more buzz online right now for Sonic the Hedgehog 3 than there is for Mufasa, the Lion King prequel. Smile 2, Gladiator 2. This isn't even talking about the fact that they announced a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic book based R-rated film that's going to be live. I think they said live action. The Last Ronin, not to mention the fact that they're doing a G.I. Joe Transformers crossover. Paramount has a lot of things that are going very well, despite the fact that that movie studio is probably going to get bought out, probably by Skydance. But if you want to talk about that, leave that in the comment section down below. What else you can comment on is whether or not any of these movies appeal to you and what you are looking forward to in the next few years at the movies. Does Disney have it? Does Paramount have it? Does Warner Brothers have it? Let's talk about that in the comment section down below. Like this video if you like this video, and consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.